Senator Martha McSally was America's first female fighter pilot to fly in combat, and she rose through the ranks to become an Air Force colonel. The Arizona Republican was appointed to the U.S. Senate back in 2018, taking over for the late John McCain. She faces a tough re-election this fall, however. In a new book, Dare to Fly, Simple Lessons in Never Giving Up, McSally writes about fighting adversity and sexism throughout her career, and she joins us now from Tucson, Arizona. Senator McSally, good morning and welcome. There's so much to get to in the book, many wonderful bits of wisdom hard-won over the course of your life and career. But I want to get a couple questions in on Washington. The Senate is talking about possibly picking up another stimulus bill. We've got tens of millions of Americans out of work, possibly 20% unemployment. What would you like to see in that bill?
Well, back in Arizona, we have so many people who are safely going back to work, but there's still so many more who are unemployed in my neighborhood, all over our community. Small businesses got access to PPP, but I have legislation that allows them to have forgivable the cost for PPE and other things. So I think the next package needs to focus very much on the American worker, family, and small business, and getting things back on track while we still fight to defeat this virus, which we will.
What would that look like in supporting the American worker, in your view? For example, would you be behind hazard pay for frontline workers?
Well, we're in the middle of conversations about this, and I'm listening to my constituents every single day. So when I deploy back to D.C., to the new combat zone I'm in, I'm going to bring Arizona's stories, Arizona's needs, and we'll be in those negotiations going forward.
It's interesting that you call Washington a combat zone. You write in the book that working in Washington is the most frustrating thing you've ever done in your life, and you've done a lot of frustrating things. So let's talk about politics for a second. There's a bit of a Democratic surge, it would seem, in Arizona. You're trailing your opponent in your Senate race. Joe Biden seems to be doing well against President Trump there, according to polls. Is there a Democratic surge in Arizona? And if so, what's behind it?
Well, I look at it like this could be the last year of my life. I learned that when I lost my dad at the age of 12. I talk about that in Dare to Fly. And so I'm doing everything I can in this unprecedented time to help Arizonans in order to get the relief that they need to get through this. There's a big fight ahead, and there's going to be an important choice. I will say in my race, the question of who is going to take on China is going to be very significant. I have never trusted a communist in my life. My opponent actually has been invested by the Chinese Communist Party and companies, and he's invested in them. I'm going to take them on and confront them, and I think going forward, the voters will hear more about their choice in front of them.
All right. Well, as you say, it could be the last year of your life is the way you live it, and politically speaking, that may be true. Let's get into the book a little bit. You've made it through so much in your life that you say you have something called a misery database that you draw on to get through adversity. What is a misery database?
Well, I shared this story in Dare to Fly when I was climbing Mount Kilimanjaro with some friends, and one of them brought his son, and he was an elite athlete, and he was really struggling. And I just shared that the rest of us, we've been through a lot of difficult times, and to put one foot in front of the other, we were tapping into that misery database to give us strength to get through this challenge. And his database was empty, but he was building it at that moment. And if he could just get to the top of the mountain, it could propel him to do amazing things in his life. And he made it, and he's moved on to do incredible things. And I think for all of us, we can either reach back to our tough times, and we can have it pull us down and hold us back, or we can tap in and it can give us resolve and strength. And I talk about that in my book.
All right, Senator McSally, thank you very much. I do want to underscore one other point you make in the book and that you attach to the coronavirus and this national response we're all going through right now, and that is the lesson that you've learned to do things afraid. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait for the perfect answer. Don't wait for the perfect moment. That moment is now. Good words to live by. And Senator McSally, I appreciate you being here today. Dare to Fly is available in bookstores.
Exactly, of the A10. No, you can go to daretofly.us and share their stories with me, too.
No, it really is a wonderful book. People who are interested in politics, people who are interested in aviation, the military, there's something for everyone. Dare to Fly is available in bookstores today.